Hello, my astrology family. This is Lada from astrolada.com here with your weekly horoscope for the 12th till the 16th of August 2019. And I almost was not gonna do that weekly because I'm here in the mountains of Bulgaria. I'm gonna be doing a retreat with Natalia. Basically, I'm a guest, so she'll be working on me. And I was like, oh, okay, this week I'm not going to. But then I had a dream and I woke up and I had to do it because the dream was connected exactly with what is happening next week. And I know that most other astrologers will speak about next week about the new moon in Aquarius, but I'm going to take your attention away because there is another very important astrological event that's happening. And this is the conjunction, the superior conjunction of Venus and the Sun. This is when Venus and the Sun align exactly. And this is the midway, halfway process of the whole Venus cycle, which is around 600 days, 19 months basically. And this is the phase of the Venus that starts now, which we can compare as if Venus, just like the moon cycle, when the moon is full and after that it starts growing smaller, or waning moon. Well, now this process is starting. The moment the Sun conjoins next week on the 14th of August with the Sun, from then on for the next 9 months, it will be in its waning phase. So it will be very different. And it means that our whole attitude towards relationship and love and self-worth and value and comforts in life will be shifting for the next 9 months collectively. So I'll tell you about my dream as well. You might find it interesting, but let me explain to you first what this is. So the first part of the Venus cycle, till now it was 9 months again, it was Venus morning star, or also called Venus Lucifer. And that was the first part of a cycle. So when Venus is a morning star, like it was till now, it was seen before the sun in the morning, before the sun rises. Venus is very impetuous, it's spontaneous, it's full of drive and excitement. So this is what happens to our relationships. In the last 9 months, we collectively started at different levels in our life. Some new relationships, whether partnerships, whether personal relationship, or new phase of relationships. And also in regards to money, maybe we were more impetuous. Maybe we started new financial endeavors of some sort. Maybe it's Venus's relationship and money, on the most general surface level. It's also creativity and artistic abilities. So also maybe we experimented with new techniques and new artistic approaches, with new sense of style, with new sense of beauty, with new sense of what is attractive and valuable. And we made some new beginnings there of some sort. But also we're less considerate when Venus is a Lucifer. Venus Lucifer is more selfish. It's like a young girl. Imagine a beautiful young girl that all she cares about is to go partying, is to go shake her booty, to impress men, to be adored, to be admired. She jumps from relationship to relationship. When Venus is Lucifer, we generally collectively feel more like that. And if a relationship doesn't work out or breaks down, we don't experience we have dramatic feelings, but they go away quickly and we pass and move onwards. And actually, if you're born with Venus Lucifer, Venus as a morning star, you're naturally someone who is more innovative, more spontaneous, more reckless sometimes, even with money and relationships, but you're willing to take chances, more idealistic, like a young girl is more idealistic. Like Venus was young, it was in a growing phase till then. And even if you're a man, imagine Venus was like, ooh, beautiful young girl, shining brightly, just like Lucifer thought he was more important than God, that his beauty, his intelligence, his qualities made him more special. That's why they called Venus morning star Lucifer, because we become a bit more selfish, but we start new things and we're bright and brilliant. But now what happens? Venus, the dad is calling Venus and say, come here, my little girl. The pictures of you on Instagram all over. You're not wearing panties there. You're going around breaking young men's hearts or young girls' hands. It can be a heart. It can be a man. And he's saying you're spending money like there is no tomorrow. This is the Sun is the king or the father. So now Venus gets with the king on a council, and she might be reprimanded, or if she's been, or she might have to revise her actions, because the father says you're no longer a teenager, you're no longer a young girl. You no longer can act so selfishly in your desires. Venus rules desires, preferences, comforts, just pleasing yourself, just doing things that are good for you, not considering the others. You're entering a stage where you have to be more mature, where you have to think about your choices more, where you have to, internalize more and choose more correctly, where you don't expend all your energy without getting in return the right things. You have to make wiser relationship choices. This is Venus becoming Hesperus, evening star for the next 9 months. But the conjunction that's happening on the 14th is the council meeting, is Venus being called to the king. Another example I can show is the father and the daughter, or Venus is some nobleman that lives away from the king, throws those luxurious parties, is known to have very rich lands and properties, but is just spending it on their own pleasures. And the king calls this, and they're independent from the king, but now the king says, you are working for me, not you, I own you. Everything serves the king, the sun. God, the son is God or king or father. And it says to this nobleman, this beautiful nobleman that has to humble themselves in front of God, and says, now you have to use your resources of your kingdom to help others, to be more considerate of others. So some similar process will be happening in the heart of all of us next week. We'll have to, when a planet becomes invisible, it's conjunct the sun, it's a sacrifice has to be made. An important decision is taken during the council with the sun, with your higher self, the sun, with your higher self, with an authority figure. If you don't have your own an authority figure in the face of the sun will appear in your life and says, now let's act more wisely from now on when it comes to money, to relationships for the next 9 months. Let's introspect, let's go within, and let's not do it in an impulsive, selfish way. The first impulse of Venus Lucifer was necessary, the most, the more reckless one, the more excitable one, the more full of youth one, even the selfishness. But now you develop that. And now you have to use those Venusian qualities: beauty, kindness, affection, love, art, relationship, for at a wiser pace. What will happen is that some important decisions, internally or externally, will be taken in your life in the next week that determines your attitude to money, that determines your relationships, personal, business, interpersonal relationships with people overall, that determine your sense of value, of beauty, that determine and that you make an internal decision or something force you from outside to change your attitude towards your self-worth, how you love yourself, how you show love to others as well, in a more responsible and more mature way. It's like Venus maturation, kind of. And while it's invisible, what happens? A planet invisible, the ancient Vedic astrologer says that when a planet is conjunct the sun and it's invisible in the sun's rays, it loses its pride. So when a planet is very bright away from the sun, it's like, yay, I can do what I want, and it's resplendent, it gives powerful material results, but when it comes close, what happens when you're in the presence of God or your father, or not anyone, not many of us do this, but in the presence of a king or God, you humble yourself, you become invisible, lower than the grass. And if the king is fair king, hopefully God is fair for all, this is the sun, you will feel that you have to, what happens? You sacrifice something. The sun, the ancient used to burn, to put a sacrifice, to burn it in the fire. The sun rules fire. So the sun purifies. The sun is sacrificial fire that burns the dross and the selfish elements, or the too material and too thick and, the too thick and unsophisticated part of the soul. And Venus, as I said, rules our money, our attitude to other people, our relationships, our finances. So what's happening is a purification of those impulses and desires, a purification of desire for self-pleasure, for purification of the artistic impulse in a person, purification of the preferences and tastes of what they find beautiful. So for artists and more spiritual people, this can be an extremely inspirational moment when new ideas are coming, when they're feeling like a refinement of their artistic, skill, where they're feeling that they want with their art to serve something higher. Or if you're just like a housewife or just a normal girl or a man with normal relationships, you can feel like a more um, uh, impulse towards more, let's say, how do I say, more relationships that are to purify a relationship. You can feel an impulse towards more selfless relationships, towards more selfless service of some sort, towards love and beauty and understanding with other people. So it ennobles the sun conjunct, when it's combust, when Venus is combust conjunct the sun, it ennobles the impulse of Venus. It's humbled, it's not proud. So you are more, when you're humbled, you're more willing to examine and to question yourself and your methods of how you do money, love, relationship, all of those Venusian things, beauty, self-worth. You're willing to more introspect, to become more introspective. Actually, the whole next 9-year cycle of 9-month cycle after that is when we're more mature in our relationships, where we're more introspective, where we're not so rash, when we're more thoughtful of others and of our needs. And just to tell you what my dream was, I dreamed that, and we have to make some sacrifice. I told you, with Venus conjunct the sun, we take an important decision that can feel like a sacrifice for something bigger, for something more moral, more noble. The sun is noble, it's bright. It can be cruel sometimes. We can feel like the sacrifice is cruel. The sun burns. The king or God can be ruthless, but it's for our own good. Everything that God wants to do, the sun, is lead us back to love, to more balanced and perfected, state of self, and to more loving self. So that's what it's doing to this, jiggy daughter now, Venus, and tells her, oh, come back. So what can happen, is that we're gonna feel an input. Well, I don't want to repeat myself now, but I will go back basically to, and we'll speak about each sign, how Venus conjunct the sun will affect you. Sorry, I got distracted. People passing, so I lost my train of thought. Hey, hopefully I'll pick it up again. So some kind of sacrifice has to be made, and this is increased by the full moon, because the full moon is happening exactly opposite the sun conjunction Venus. It's like the queen is also called the queen, the moon, the mother, the creator mother, the moon. Is also called to participate at this important conversation of the father and the king with the princess that's just been going dancing and wearing her shoes off. If you know the story, where the princess would sneak every night and be impetuous, impulsive, and wear off her shoes every night from dancing. So these are the Venusian impulses of desire that we have to cancel, that the God, the Mother, Father, Son are going to cancel. And that will create in us some emotional discomfort, because the moon is making an opposition. So the mama moon is sitting there and saying, daughter, Venus is as a daughter, our impulses, desires, love, it can be for men as well. Listen to your dad. And it feels uncomfortable. And the mom also feels like, you're doing it too harshly to the father, be gentle, and that can create, the moon symbolizes our feelings. It can create in us a bit of uncomfort emotionally, a bit of a challenge. And again, the oppositions is about the sun opposite moon, sun Venus opposite moon. So it can create some kind of the need again to sacrifice certain comforts and certain needs, and it can escalate emotionally. Emotionally, we can feel a bit overwhelmed somehow, but it's a maturation process, so don't worry, it's all good. So let's see, how is that going to affect each of the 12 signs. And Mars is there as well, so there'll be fireworks. So there'll be important developments happening with money, with relationships, important decisions that you're taking in regards to that, to contracts, to agreement, to beauty, to matters connected to collaboration of any sort. This is Venus, art of any sorts. But let's see, as I said, when Venus is combust, which is happening, the superior conjunction, you have to sacrifice something of your most selfish desires, Venus, for more noble purposes and goals that are higher goals, which is the sun. The sun symbolizes higher, God's will, something better for the all. And this, so when each one of you will have to sacrifice in a different area of life. So let's see. And by the way, I wanted to tell you that because we have to sacrifice something, I want to make a sacrifice as well. So my best courses on relationships, the love course, I'm putting it down from $500 to $149 just for 1 week, making a sacrifice, monetary sacrifice, Venus combustion for the higher good, for knowledge, for inspiration, the sun. And I'm also making Ksenia's course, Will I Find, Will I Marry Again? It's $29 down from $39, and also my course on soulmate compatibility down $29 from $39 or $49. So check them out. They're out for just 1 week. So what sacrifice and purification and important decision will have each of the signs to do? For Aries, it's happening in their 5th house. So it might have to do some important decision that they take in regards to artistic, creative endeavors, to their love life, the 5th house, in regards to, and the sun also rules their 5th house. So the sun is what we sacrifice to. As the rule of the 5th house, we have to sacrifice some of our more selfish, impetuous, or immature desires in the face of Venus for something 5th house, which is the sun. So maybe you have to sacrifice some personal desire because of a lover or because of a love relationship. You might have to sacrifice, and you might have to rethink somehow, or go more introspective about a romantic relationship and how you give and receive love. You might have to sacrifice something for a child, maybe some money. For example, Venus rules money, and the sun rules your 5th house, a child, or for a favorite hobby or something that you're passionate about, or some creative project that the sun burning Venus, you have to sacrifice, for maybe you might have to sacrifice having fun and good time, which is Venus, and to please yourself more, for the purpose of some creative idea that you have, for the purpose or the better of your children, the sun ruling the 5th house, for the betterment, or for some kind of more noble impulse connected to children or to something creative. It can work this way. And don't forget that the full moon is going to be in your 11th house. So there is also focus on friendships, some important developments and culminations of matters concerning friendships and gains, and having to also maybe change in some way your creative approach to your business ideas. 5th house can be anything that you create, and to make them more mature in some way. If you're Taurus, you have to sacrifice something, Venus, or take important decision connected to your home, because the sun that it's sacrificing Venus to, it's in the 4th house, and it rules your 4th house currently. Always, so you might have to, because of home and family, you might have to spend some money. For example, Venus is money, sun rules your 4th house, family, place of living, mother, father, care of someone, because of nurseries as well, those things like the education of the children up to high school as well is the 4th house. You might have to spend some money, for example, sacrifice some of your own desires and some of your own more selfish approaches because of family member, property, home, or you can also get new ideas now in something regarding your home, regarding property, regarding place of living. But it might be the need to your personal desires to be ennobled by the needs, by the emotional needs of your family and your close people or place of living. If you're Gemini, the sun conjunction, and also there is focus for you, Taurus, on career. The full moon is in your 10th house, so there can be some culmination, completion of a career project, endings of some sort there, or seeing the results to and rewards in regards to your career through authority person. Some important female authority, Taurus, can have an impact for you in some way. If you're Gemini, the Venus conjunct Sun, it's happening in your 3rd house. So you might have to sacrifice your needs or your desires because of a sibling, because of a neighbor, because of a coworker, teammate, playmate, associate of some sort. They might overpower you as well in some way. They might overpower your impulses to please yourself, Venus. because of because of their needs or demands of some sort, and some authority figure in the face of neighbors, siblings, relatives can come to make you rethink your approach to relationships or to money as well, which is Venus. Or you might have to spend on third house things, because combust Venus, sacrifice. You spend somehow, spend for example on some trip, third house, on some education, because you make Venus subservient to the sun. The sun rules your third house. So you make Venus your money and your desires and impulses and pleasures to serve a higher purpose of, for example, something educational, the sun of some trip, or your money to serve a trip, or a neighbor, the needs of a neighbor, or the demands of a relative, or a teammate, workmate, playmate, or some business project. The third house is for a bigger good of a business project, or the local community is the third house, that you have to rethink your values, finances of some sort as well. So there you go. And the full moon for you is in the ninth house. There will be powerful, philosophical, powerful opinions, very emotional opinions, but also philosophical realizations, and maybe the completion of something like a long-term trip, some development there, like something to do with higher education that can develop, some important developments with foreign people as well. If you are Cancer, the Venus superior conjunction with the sun is happening in your second house. Second house is all about resources, and you have to, so basically you have to make, you have to sacrifice some of your own pleasures, Venus, some of your own personal preferences, some of your own predispositions that please you, let's say, or values, because of something that the sun overpowers it. So the sun is material security, because of some bigger project, let's say. The sun is something bigger project, bigger goal, more noble goal, or one that is more important for everyone on a larger scale. So because of a financial, because of a goal that is bigger goal connected to financial material security, or the greater good, or you might even have to sacrifice some kind of food, because Venus being in the second house and rules pleasures and things that are kind of rich, and the sun burning it as a rule of the second house, which is food and eating as well. Sacrifice some kind of food, or some kind of rich thing that you enjoy, to burn it in the sacrificial fire of the sun, or to spend some money. Again, Venus also rules money, because of a higher material goal, let's say, because the sun is ruler of the second, Venus also rules money. Or it can indicate that you might have to sacrifice a certain aspect of a relationship, or purify it so it can serve materially better your family or yourself, because the sun, the ruler of the second house, material security or material considerations, almost like the king, the father, calls Venus now and says, you've been spending too much, or you've been a bit reckless with resources and your resources and finances, and how you give your energy away. This is the second house. Now become more mature, scolding her a little bit. Now become, I'm purifying you here so you can be wiser in the next 9 months when it comes to those matters. All right. If you're Leo, for you this process is most powerful, especially something really important and life-changing can happen in regards to relationship, resources, money, values. If you are Leo born around the 14th, 13th, 14th, 15th of August, if your rising sun or moon are around the 22nd degrees, I would give 3-4 degrees before, so 18 degrees to 26 degrees basically in, I hope this doesn't spray me. So far so good. Of Leo. So yes, you will feel this, but all Leos, this is happening. Somehow you have to submit your desires, Venus, your more impetuous desires and preferences and likings, more selfish impulses and urges to please yourself, to pleasure yourself. These are all Venusian impulses, to a higher goal of yours, because you're sacrificing it to the sun. You're the sun. The sun rules Leo. So you have to, basically, you take some important decision that makes you maybe, because the sun creates like fasting, burning, that you shed some of your most selfish desires and most selfish preferences and values, because of a higher goal, because of a bigger, better you. You know, the sun rules you because of a healthier body as well. You might have to sacrifice something tasty again, Venus, something tasty because of a better body, better health, you know, and you'll do it. You know, it's gonna be easier. In the next 9 months, you'll start. It's gonna allow you. The next 9 months after that will allow you to deny yourself this. Venus is in its phase of waning, basically, after that. So you're more wise with that. You're more wise with your resources, Venus. You're more wise and more mature with your how you spend money, how you give and receive love. You might have to sacrifice love or relationship, not fully, but an aspect of relationship, aspect of partnership of some sort, personal business, because of a higher goal you want. Now your partners and loved ones might, you know, or you being able to spend time with loved ones, Venus, might have to be sacrificed for a higher, bigger goal, for improving yourself, or even career goal, because the sun naturally rules career as well. Some authority figure, because of some authority figure, but you're the authority figure somehow, you know. And it's just the sun is some bigger project, some goal, something that is more um, more noble, you know, generally, and that things of everything rather than for specific elements. All right, so also I can think that there will be a change and a shift in values, what you appreciate, what you like as well, how you feel about someone. Now it can be a pivotal time for a shift of your relationships towards someone. And if you felt more impulsive, uncontrollable feelings towards someone, you're gonna internalize that and not act so, and you're gonna make them subservient to your ego, the sun, subservient to your pride, the sun, subservient not to your pride, but to your noble endeavors, to more. The sun is full of willpower. You're gonna make your impulses of desire towards relationships, towards money, more under the control of your willpower. Phew, so much easier if I had started with that. Then think of it. Um, so yeah, very interesting times for you, Leo, especially. And there is a full moon in your seventh house. There is again big focus on relationships because of that, you know, some important developments with partnership, business, relationship. And the full moon usually tends to be a culmination, seeing the results of some partnerships, putting a spotlight on important events with partnerships and developments there, and agreements and contracts and business deals as well. But there might be also the need to spend more money. Venus combust by the sun, because if you're making yourself a better person, or because of some bigger project that you're working on, the sun, because of, you know, that you desire, because the sun is you. If you're Virgo, Venus is getting combusted in your 12th house by the sun. The sun rules the 12th house again. So you might have to sacrifice certain pleasures. Venus is good food, good wine, to please yourself, to give yourself good, you know, clothes and shoes and parties, the things that we enjoy the most, the things of the matter, of the physical, tangible things that we think life is worth living for. You might have to sacrifice them or purify those impulses and make it subservient to a spiritual impulse. The sun, rule of the 12th house, is, you know, a very spiritual impulse. And the sun is like the father calls you, the God calls you and says, now you have to maybe spend some money, or maybe spend some money on someone in need, for example. Spend some money on some spiritual growth, like some, you know, something that will search into your soul, the 12th house, that will make your desires and passions, Venus, serve the process of purification of the soul, the 12th house. Maybe you might deny yourself some pleasures and enjoyments so you can go within your soul and have some spiritual insights. And I think it might be very easier for you if you want fasting, if you want some spiritual practice where you have to deny yourself something pleasant. It's going to be easiest for you. And in the next 9 months, Venus will really support that giving away of something that is very enjoyable, but that ties you to the material, and that kind of has turned into a selfish desire now, that is just does not care about others. It's just want to fulfill its pleasure in some sort. So there will be purifications of such desires, because you feel more compassion. The Venus becomes subservient to the rule of the 12th house. The 12th house is compassion, is the desire to, and the feeling to contribute to the whole rather than just for personal reasons. And it's almost like past karma is burning, because the sun is the rule of the 12th house, is burning some of your grosser desires, because Venus was till now in this phase of, more impetuous desires, so they can be purified. So I believe that you will be more sacrificial after that in relationships, that you will be more forgiving in some sort. You might have to do such a, you know, uh, such a choice of some sort. But also it is connected to spending more money, because Venus rules your second house, Virgos, which is resources and finances. It's in the 12, composed by the ruler of the 12. So spending some money, but on something noble, on something bigger, on something that is almost like a karmic debt as well, to help someone, to uplift someone in need, or you can spend some more money because of something else. 12th house. 12th house is foreign countries, faraway trips, spiritual courses and webinars or whatever, or spend some money on your soul, or spend some money on a trip to escape. That's another thing that can happen, to escape reality, to get lost in that, or just to basically invest in something, but that it gives its results later on. um, so it's purification of your desires, and gross desires, and there will be a refinement of your artistic skills as well if you're Virgo, because Venus in the 12th house is very imaginative, and when it's subservient to the 12th house ruler, Virgo is actually a very imaginative people. Leo, it rules their 12th house, but it's hidden because it's in the 12th house. The imagination is more internal. People don't see their rich soul, you know but it's inside of them. It's the sun shines, and the hidden soul is so deep, basically. The imagination there, but all this glamorous and creative side is hidden in the 12th house. All right, so if you are, and of course the full moon for you is happening in the 6th house, Virgo, so they'll be focused on work, on responsibilities and duties, maybe completion of some work project, or culmination, seeing the results of some work project, and also health and order. Um, but somehow your priorities in regards to how you give and receive love, Venus, are being shifted because of a bigger, higher priority, the sun, which is more noble as a ruler of the 12th house, which is more sacrificial in a sense. And there might be that you make, and as I said, that you lose. Ruler of the 12th is to lose something, to let go of something, that you're more easily able to let go of certain grosser desires, attachments, in the face of Venus, relationships, or even attachment to something material, and purify your attitude towards those things. If you're Libra, the Sun Venus conjunction, superior conjunction, is happening in your 11th house. So you might have to spend, because Venus, is money, and the Sun burns it, so you can burn some money basically and spend some money, for example, on friends, or on some social event, or on some business goal, because the 11th house is business connections, social connections as well, long-term goals as well, and especially goals that are profitable of some sort. So dreams and wishes. So you might have to sacrifice some money and make an important decision because of a dream or a wish of yours, or because of some long-term goal, as I said, or because you want to make more money into the future, because the 11th house is gain, and the ruler of the 11th burns Venus. Or you might have to sacrifice a certain aspect of a relationship, or your pleasures, or your choice, because of a friendship, sun rule of the 11th house, because of an important social connection, and it has to be subservient. Now your romantic partner might be like, oh, I need attention, but you're like, no, now I cannot spend time with you, or have fun, or enjoy myself. Venus is to do the things you love, whatever is, eat chocolate, or go partying, or drinking, or going to nice restaurants, or having sex with your girlfriend, or just lounging and reading a book. The things that you enjoy, you sacrifice them, or you purify those desires currently because of a higher goal. And this goal can be business, can be social economic, can be a goal, for example, to become to receive some bonus or reward, which is the 11th house, or just some dream and wish, or some friend, as I said. And as well, there is a full moon for you Libras in your fifth house. There is a strong focus on your love life that can create a bit of tension there with those other processes that are happening. And also something important can happen, something to illuminate, to give you answers about an important romantic relationship or about a creative project that comes to a culmination or you see its results as well. Uh, uh, yes, or your children might be in the spotlight currently, that they're creating, that you have to put your focus on them as well, and that you are basically you can feel more emotional about such matters, your child, and such. But important developments happen there as well. And if you are Scorpio, uh, the Venus superior conjunction Sun is happening in your 10th house. So basically, you might have to sacrifice some money because of a future bigger career project. Because the Sun, the rule of the 10th house, makes the Venus money subservient, or financial consideration subservient to its goals, to its rules. So because of some career project, because of maybe investing in your career or some project, or maybe because some authority figure, the Sun is the rule of the 10th house, you um, or some, because you're taking some executive decision of some sort for your social status, and that's why you might have to sacrifice either time uh, that you might spend doing things you enjoy and pleasurable, or money of some sort as well. And also you're taking some important decision in regards to your career, very likely, or in regards to an important authority figure in your life as well. And instead of, also you can take a decision that your career shifts in a different direction, so it serves more um, larger purpose, more bigger, more selflessly, that through your career, through your worldly actions, you serve more selflessly, um, not just for yourself and your reputation as well. And you can change your values towards your career as well. There is a purification of your values in regards to your career. And also Venus rules your seventh house of relationship. You might have to make a sacrifice in a certain aspect of your relationship, personal, business contract of some sort, or marriage partner, or boyfriend, girlfriend, because of a career responsibility, or some, the Sun, the rule of the 10th, some higher goal, bigger, larger project, or because of work duties and responsibilities and worldly responsibilities. And of course, the full moon is happening for you, Scorpio, in your fourth house. So there is a bit of focus that is screaming for your attention from your personal life as well, from your family. That you complete something, for example. Some of you might complete some renovations or some move, or some of you might have a illumination or understanding about something connected to their home, family, parents, place of living. All right, if you are Sagittarius, the Venus conjunct Sun is happening in your ninth house, the superior conjunction. So you have to maybe spend some money, because Venus is getting burnt and Venus is money. And in regards to, so you can sacrifice some money in regards to some travel, for example. Sun, the rule of the ninth house, travel, some high education. You have to make the Venusian things in process in your life, which is finances, resources, serve a higher goal and be subservient to the King Sun, which rules foreign countries, a trip, high education, taking a course, taking a webinar of some sort. And don't forget, I'm doing my webinars on love and relationship from $500 to $149 just for a week, just making my sacrifice as well of my resources. Or maybe make a sacrifice in regards to your in regards to a higher ideal and goal. Maybe you might even you might decide to shift your attitude and in relationships. Venus is relationships with other people, because of a higher principle, because of a higher moral principle, or um, mm, because of a strong opinion that you have of some sort, and strong belief that you have of some sort. And the ninth house rules God, and the Sun represents God as well. So you might notice like a dominating figure, someone with a lot of authority, that almost like God is speaking through, who is making you rethink, or who is making you um, sacrifice or humble your attitudes towards relationships, your attitude towards money, your attitudes towards resources, Venus, and sacrifice some pleasures and enjoyments of some sort as well. But also there is a full moon in your opposite side, the third house. So again, there's a strong focus on traveling, trips of some sort if you're Sagittarius, on communication, information. The flow of information increases a lot this week. You'll hear a lot of opinions from others, a lot of, you might find yourself that you're communicating with a lot more people, getting a lot more emails, having a lot of business activities as well that might be distracting you from the Sun, Venus, important considerations and decisions in regards to education, knowledge, higher principles as well. All right, so if you're Capricorn, the superior conjunction of Venus and the moon and the sun is happening in your 8th house. So you might have to sacrifice some of your personal resources because of someone else. The 8th house is other people's resources and the sun rules it. So it's kind of like the needs of someone else, the resources of someone else are asking you to ennoble, to sacrifice your own resources. So maybe to invest in someone else, or to invest money, to spend money, Venus, for someone else, or on someone else as well. Or you might have to make your money work for, Sun being Venus, Sun dominating Venus, your money to work for some mutual project together with a partner, for example, or some investment that you're doing. The 8th house is investments as well. Or you might make that that you sacrifice a part of your relationship, part of your needs and pleasures and things that you enjoy because of the needs or the material needs of a partner, or or a partnership of some sort, or because of the intimacy needs, because 8th house is intimacy. So you might have to make a part of of your own pleasures and needs, serve those of a partner, or serve those, the deep, what's it called? The deep, and also to a secret, you might have to do something secretly because the sun is the ruler of the 8th house, something behind the scene that you have to, put your Venusian abilities, which is of creating art or beauty, of creating understanding, collaboration of some sort, in some secret relationship or something private that you're doing behind the scenes of some sort. Or you might have to invest or put some money in mutual resources, or so after that you can, or for insurance or inheritance or taxes of some sort that you have to spend on, for example. All the demands and needs of 8th house activities will kind of overpower and overshadow and make you rethink your own pleasures and enjoyments. All right, and there is a full moon in your 2nd house as well, Capricorn. So there is a lot of focus on your own resources as well, and the resources of partners, as we said. So kind of money and resources are a big issue for you this month. And what is it? Venus also rules your 10th house. So you might have to sacrifice, as Venus as a ruler of your 10th house and as a ruler of your 5th house. So the 10th house is career, the 5th house is romance. You might have to sacrifice something in regards to your career, to humble it or to make it subservient, or in regards to your romantic relationship, to make it subservient to the sun, to a higher goal, to a higher purpose, to a bigger, nobler project, for example, some authority figure, someone with more power who is a bit behind the scenes with this 8th house there. Or to make your career serve the purposes of some mutual financial agreement of some sort, for example. All right, and if you're Aquarius, this is happening in the Venus, superior conjunction of Venus with the sun is happening in our 7th house. So this is very interesting. What does it mean? That Venus rules relationship, but the 7th house and the sun also rules relationship. So how can you sacrifice relationship for relationship? So you might have to sacrifice one relationship on one side of a relationship for the better, bigger, gooder stuff of this relationship, because for the higher purpose of that relationship, or for another relationship, for example. That's how it might play out. The sun, Venus has to sacrifice something there. So you might have to also sacrifice your own personal, more selfish desires and pleasures and joys and ways to, to please yourself and your personal, things that you pamper yourself with or that you enjoy because of a partner, because of the needs of a partner. It might be a business partner, personal partner, a client of some sort. Or you might have to, for example, spend some money on a partner, on a partnership, or on a contract, or an agreement, because the sun is getting sacrificed, is getting humbled. You're getting some important developments in regards to relationship, uh, in regards to partnership, in regards to business contracts, agreements, and clients as well. And of course, you might, it's almost like you want to take the higher ground and think more of the needs of the others rather than, and you might sacrifice some of the things that you find enjoyable because of a loved one or because of an important partner as well, because some important partner dominates you, like some important person in the role of the sun in Leo in your seventh house, full of life or vigor or presence or authority and strength, who inspires you in some way to sacrifice some of your lower impulses in the face of Venus as more selfish. Venus getting sacrificed as Lucifer to be reborn as Venus Hesperus, Venus as Ishtar, the more giving and mature love in the next 9 months. So you can sacrifice some of your less giving and mature love impulses, some of your more selfish ones, for because, or some of your more selfish desires and self-pleasing desires because another person inspires you, or because of another person, or because of, to make your partner happier, or because of the needs, your partner is changing something, doing something new, and you have to adjust to that as well. But you have this more noble impetus to ennoble your desires through that. And especially if you're working with someone on one-to-one basis, they can have a very strong impact and power on you, because the sun is other people. They impact you, they purify you in some way, they purify your own desires, they purify your beliefs. Venus, the ruler of the ninth house, Venus, the ruler also of your fourth house. You might have to sacrifice as Aquarius something about your own emotional needs because of a partner, or because of another person, or some of your family needs and interests, to make them subservient to the desire or the decision of your partner, for example. And to take into consideration their opinion instead. And if you're Pisces, and of course there is the full moon in our first house, so there's a lot of focus on us as Aquarius. We're in the spotlight. Our actions are closely observed, they're not hidden. We're quite emotional, we can act quite emotionally, but again, it's the moon, when there is a full moon in your sign, it invigorates you for action, and you can see the results of some efforts that you started 6 months ago. You can see the culmination of such matters. All right, and if you're Pisces, the last sign, this superior conjunction of Venus Sun is happening in your sixth house. So you might have to spend some money because Venus is getting burned by the Sun, the ruler of the sixth house, because of a health issue. You might have to sacrifice some pleasure, something that you consider, luxurious, pleasant, enjoyable in the face of Venus, in the role of Venus, because of a health, because of the better, bigger, more important purpose of your health, because of the needs of your health, the Sun. Because the Sun overpowers Venus. It wants to sacrifice, it wants to ennoble your lesser, more selfish desires and more indulgent desires in the face of Venus, because of a health, because of more order, because of more organization in you, because of, it's almost like, something that you enjoy, you can lay it off now to put more health, more purity in you. In the Sun as the ruler of the sixth house rules those things. But also, it can indicate that you're spending some money on your health. Also, Venus as ruler of money, it means also you're spending some money on work, on some work project as well, or on planning, organizing something, because the Sun is the ruler of the sixth, it rules all those things. Or at work, there might be some dominating personality that impacts you very strongly, that makes you to make some compromise, to sacrifice this Venus with your own desires, with your own more kind of tastes of what you consider beautiful, important, valuable, because of a greater good that involves more people, because of a project that is career oriented, because the Sun rules career naturally. The Sun rules work, being the ruler of the sixth house. So for some material purpose, as the ruler of the sixth, some material purpose, you might have to sacrifice some of your own pleasures, Venus, some of your own choices. You might have to make some important choice connected to work, connected to health, connected to all those areas of life. So um, also you might have to sacrifice or change or purify a relationship because of the sun, because of career project, again because of um, the needs of a relationship in the face of Venus have to serve the needs of the sun in the face of some authority figure, in the face of some work engagement as well, or material, or the need to fix something as well, and to be useful of more help to others. The sun is the rule of the sixth house. And of course, there is a full moon in your 12th house. There is a lot of focus on your internal personal life as well. There might be the culmination of some trip far or abroad, a culmination, or very psychic. You can feel very psychic now, Pisces. You already are, and when there's a full moon in your 12th house, there's strong intuitions that actually it's almost like opening of a channel with the invisible worlds. The 12th house rules our ancestors that have passed, our guardian angels and the such, that you make a gate with them to receive intuitive insights through them. So there you go. This is your weekly horoscope for all of you. Check out the promotions that I'm doing. My Venus sacrifice from $500, my best course on relationships, to $149, and also Ksenia's course goes 30% down on Will I Marry Again, and my course on soulmate compatibility goes down from $39 to $29, so 30% again for just a week. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. And I'll tell you what the results from my therapy is now this week. The geisha that we're doing, Natalia is doing to us 15 girls. I'm very excited to see my transformation and new realizations. So thank you. Bye.